Our clients need to think about what do they invest in that makes them different. And so our tech vision really paints sort of 5 post-digital principles that we'll talk through that people can start acting on today to take us there. But I really think it all starts with the people. Everything starts with the people. And our first trend is all around the human plus worker.
Right.
We know that technology is changing the way that people work. And I think more interestingly, it's changing the way that the work actually happens itself. We think about small teams, nimble teams, these types of things. And we've got to have a new technology paradigm to be able to satisfy that. We did some interesting research, and 78% of the executives that we talked to said that the technology velocity, those changes, is going to have a material need for them to reskill their organization. And for me, one of the most interesting things was 90% of jobs they said are going to be impacted by AI alone. Half of those significantly. So the impact is here, it's now. So Workday's doing a lot in this space. Maybe you can share a little bit about how you see some of these new technologies influencing work, people, and their skills, and how we harness some of that.
There's no question that automation and machine learning is fundamentally changing the way that we work. It's really changing or disrupting our talent practices as we've known them. So the same principles we've held so dear for so long, organizing principles, practices that we've had, they all need to change. We need to adopt new ways of approaching skills development.
Absolutely.
Every role will be reshaped.
Yep.
Some more than others.
Yep.
Some roles will be intermediated. New roles will be created, but every job is being touched by technology in a pretty profound way. As you said, companies, top of their agenda is how do we upskill? How do we reskill? How do we really think about investing in the future of our company by investing in our people? But there's some inherent challenge to that, and a lot of it had to do with some systems challenges and some understanding what they have and what they need, and how their systems did not really support them in that endeavor. And the way we've been looking at it at Workday is across the entire life cycle for workers. And I'm using workers, not employees, purposefully here, but really looking at all of their needs and all the talent practices that we've supported and how are they being changed? How can we take that same technology, machine learning, that's changing our business, and then apply it to help be the answer, to help reskill, upskill, develop people inside the organization. And when we looked at that, we said, well, one of the things that we lack is a universal language of expressing what we have and what we need, skills, right? And we lacked a universal language and ontology for that. Together with our customers and a big coalition with our customers, we've developed what we believe is the first true universal skills ontology that's shared across all of our customers. That same library, if you will, that same set of skills is then fueling all of the talent practices by serving as the connective tissue, if you will, to help make recommendations, to understand who might be a good mentor for you, what might be a good learning experience for you because of the job you're in, the role you have, the experiences you've had in the organization. So, we're looking at this holistically, and then we're really trying to zero in on a unit of measure that could give us incredible leverage and actually can be the fuel for machine learning. The skill is actually the fuel for the machine learning brain.
And I think what's so great about that is you get the technology in place, you get the skills ontology in place, but it also drives a cultural change. People need to be lifelong learners, but it gets everybody working in the same direction in thinking about what should I learn? What are my opportunities? They're speaking the same language, and I think that helps to accelerate some of that.
Right, because how I define something as a manager might be different than another, even within our own company.
Totally.
Let alone outside the organization. We're trying to connect to opportunities outside of your organization.
Absolutely.
So when we share in this common language, we can make the labor market, the skills-based labor market, much more efficient. And that in turn helps really fuel different talent practices around learning and development for an organization. It's not the answer to everything, but it's certainly a critical way that technology can help improve skills development.